Hello again. In this short video, I want to show you another production function. This one is slightly different from the other one that I showed in the other video. In this video, we'll have a production function that has increasing returns initially and then diminishing returns inter. So here we have labor, and here we have output. So in this production function, we find that at the initial levels of labor, and as labor increases, production increases, but increases at an increasing rate, and then reaches some inflection point in which it starts basically taking the typical shape of diminishing returns, right? So you have basically the slope here increases at an increasing rate, reaches some kind of a maximum at the inflection point, and then after that it starts declining. So this is the total product curve. Sorry, the marginal product starts declining. The total product always increases. So from after this point, total product increases at a decreasing rate. So from this point on, we have diminishing returns, diminishing marginal returns, marginal returns, and below this point of L1 units, we have increasing marginal returns. Okay, so here it says that as L rises, marginal product of labor falls. And here it says as L rises, as labor increases, marginal product of labor falls. Rises. You got increasing returns. Yeah. So if we graph that in the lower, below it, just to have them one on top of the other, so I can transfer labor from this axis onto this axis, but here put marginal and then average productivity. What we'll see is basically that up to L1 units, marginal product of labor rises, reaches reaches a maximum, and then starts declining. There we go. Yeah. Reaches a maximum exactly at L1. And then declines and becomes zero at some point up here. Okay. That's marginal productivity. Now, in order to do average productivity, you draw a linear array from the origin, and you measure labor productivity, average labor productivity, by looking at the slope of array from the origin, linear slope, until it hits the total product curve. So this would be average productivity of labor at L1 units. Okay, and you can see that it actually increases initially and keeps on increasing until becomes the same as the marginal product of labor at L2 units. Yeah. So at L2 units, average productivity of labor, which is the slope of the ray from the the slope of the ray from the origin, tangent to tangent in this case to the total product curve, or whenever it touches the total product curve, you can see that the average productivity of labor, by looking at the slope of this ray, you can see that it keeps on rising up to L2 units of labor. And after that, it'll start declining. So you can look at, let's say if we want to measure, we'll measure it here. It'll be an array that has a much slower slope. So the slope has come down as the array from the origin is flatter towards has a flatter slope. Yeah. So it must imply that average productivity is rising up to L2 units, and then from then on it starts declining. Notice that it never goes to zero, right? Asymptotically. It might, but but average productivity after L2 declines. Okay, so you have basically average productivity rising and then declining too, and marginal productivity rising and then declining too. Notice that the maximum of marginal productivity is in labor units below the maximum of average productivity. Also note that as if the marginal productivity of labor is above average productivity of labor, we can see that average productivity of labor rises, right? So it doesn't matter if marginal productivity is rising or falling, which it does in this section, as long as marginal productivity of labor is above average productivity of labor, average productivity will be pulled up. And after this region here, after L2, because marginal productivity of labor is below average productivity of labor for any units of labor, here's marginal productivity, here's average productivity. Average productivity is above marginal productivity of labor. Then that pulls down average productivity of labor. Okay, and that, oops, what happened here? Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. It's the automatic zoom controller. So that explains this typical shape that the textbook gives in terms of the marginal and average productivity of labor. So you can say that the diminishing marginal returns enter after L1 units of labor. Yeah, uh, where the additional production from an extra worker is lower than the additional production from an extra worker of the previous unit. Thank you. Bye.